Hey everyone, it's Hank with Rattlesnake Cable Company. How's it going? Today in the shop I wanted to talk about our 4x4 junction boxes and what they're used for. So we've been selling a lot of looms recently and these are great additions for pedal boards. So why would you want to use a 4x4 junction box with the pedal board? It's great to mount this on the underside of a pedal board. And then with these 4 junctions, you'd sit there and connect guitar, send, return, and amp out on one side of the pedal board. A lot of pedal boards have these already, like Temple Audio already has like patch bays and panels. But if you don't, you're like running a Pedaltrain Classic or PT Pro, you could easily mount this underneath or on top. And the idea behind this is you would provide less stress on the jacks on the pedals. So you're not undoing the pedals every single time to plug in a guitar or an effects loop. So if you're gonna damage the jacks, damage these ones. These are easy to replace, are cheap, and you don't have to worry about replacing a pedal or sending a pedal in for repair. Also, this is just great for convenience sake. So if you're running a loom and you got 4 or 3 cables coming in, or 4, you can even have this be a foot switch too, depending on how what kind of cable your foot switch requires. This is a great option to just have all your cables on one side. It's very quick to undo these and just leave. So it's a fast setup and teardown option for an existing pedal board. And we offer 2 different kinds. So these are the 2. They look exactly the same, sorta. These, you can see all the jacks are basically the same, but this one, there's these black rings on it. Those are ISO jacks. So this one in particular is an isolated 4x4 junction box, which means that none of the grounds on any of these are touching each other. They're isolated from each other. And so this one looks different than the rest because this one needs to ground the entire enclosure. So this one is typically the one that you would plug your guitar in. Now, why would you want an ISO versus a shared ground? It really comes down to what you're using it for. So ISOs are great for if you're running 2 amps and you want to avoid ground loops and ground hum. So this separates those 2 amps, potentially. So you can have a ground loop on all sorts of other parts of your chain. This eliminates that particular part. So this doesn't mean you won't ever have a ground loop. It all depends on how you got everything else set up. So this is an option if you plan on using 2 amps. If you're not sure or you never will, just get a shared. They're cheaper. They're easier to make. That's why they're cheaper. These are just really great utility pedals to have. And just basically how this works too is they're basically pass-through. So a cable comes in here, like let's say your guitar comes in here, it's passed through to this jack here. Now you would run a patch cable to your tuner. Here it could be your send on your effects loop, passes through to here. This would go to the input or whatever output of the effects loop. And vice versa. So basically your external cables here, your long runs would be here. Inside of here would be patch cables going to specific pedals. And yeah, these are great. They're available on the site. If you're interested in a loom and you didn't want to sit there and connect all the individual pedals, that this might be the ticket to get with your loom. If you already have a loom and you're just annoyed by the setup that you have to unplug all of these pedals, you can always pick one of these up later. You can put stickers on top of here, mark them, Velcro on the bottom, go underneath the pedal board on top. You could put a tuner on top of this. It's all sorts of options. So anyway, just head on over to the site. It's under the utility section, and those will be our junction boxes, 4x4s. All right, talk to you later. Bye.